Hi everyone, today I'm going to share with you guys the top 30 most useful and most commonly used AutoCAD commands that is going to come in very handy at design works. Before we start, let us go to the View tab right here. Click on the View tab and then click on the Properties tab right here in order that the property panes appear at one of the corners of your workspace. This property pane is going to help us to edit our properties of whatever objects that we select. Now, also before we start, let us go to the Snap Entities right here. Click on the small arrowhead here and then select the entities where we want to snap to. I personally prefer to use nearest, but bearing in mind that snapping to nearest entity requires us to pay extra attention because there's possibilities that we might snap inaccurately. Now, let us live through the two most basic and simplest operations of AutoCAD using a mouse. To zoom in and out of the drawing, simply scroll the scroller in the center of our mouse up and down. And to pan across our drawing, click and hold on our scroller until a hand symbol is seen, and then move our mouse around to pan across the drawing. In normal cases, the combined operations will look something like this, involving the two simple actions. Let us now begin with our commands. To draw a line, simply use the command L and hit Enter or spacebar. Go to the first point where you want to begin the line, click on it, and then click on the subsequent points where you want the line to cross or pass. And after we are done, hit Escape to end the operation. Number 2. To draw a polyline, use the command PL. Hit spacebar, and then go to the point where you want to start the polyline. Draw the same way as we are drawing the line. And also ending with an escape button. The difference between the line and the polyline is that when we select the line, they appear as separate objects. But when we select the polyline, they are all together one object. To turn the polyline into lines, we use the explode command or X. Hit spacebar, and the polylines are being splitted into individual lines. To combine the lines into polylines, select all the lines where you want to join and use the command J for join. Hit spacebar, and they are all combined into one object. Number 3. To draw a rectangle, use the command REC. Hit spacebar. Start with one of the vertex of our rectangle or square, and then click on the endpoint. Number 4. To draw a circle, use the command C. Hit spacebar. Start off with the center of the circle. Drag away from the center to enlarge our circle, and then click on the point to end the operation. Number 5. To select and unselect an object. To select an object, we can either highlight the object from the left to the right in blue, or from the right to the left in green. When we select an object, by highlighting from the left to the right, we need to highlight the entire object in order to have the object selected. On the other hand, if we select the object by highlighting from the right to the left, only a slight touch of any point of the object will have the entire object selected. Therefore, we have to choose between the operations that suits our application the most. To deselect an object, simply go to the object, highlight it while holding down the Shift key. Without the Shift key, highlighting an object or clicking on it will select the object. With the Shift key, we do the opposite by deselecting the object. Number 6 is to copy an object. In order to copy an object, there are two ways. The first way is to use the conventional copy, Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V method, and the other way is to use the CP command. To use this Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V method, we first select the object to copy and press Ctrl+C to copy the object. Go to the point where we want to paste the object, hit Ctrl+V and click on the point where we want the object to be pasted at. Repeat the previous actions by hitting Ctrl+V or simply spacebar to repeat previous actions. To use the CP method, select the object and key in CP for copy. Click on Enter or spacebar and then select a point where we want to act as reference to copy. Copy and then paste the object to the new base points. We can also do the same to copy an object to another drawing by setting the base point. Select the object where we want to copy. Click on Ctrl, Shift and C together. Select on a base point. Go to the new drawing where we want to paste. Hit on Ctrl+V and then insert the base point that we have selected. Now, the object is being accurately pasted from one drawing to another. That serves the function of setting the base point for copy. Number 7 is to extend a line. In order to extend a line, we go to the boundary where we want the line to be extended at. Select the boundary line and then key in EX for extend. Hit Enter or spacebar. Now, we go to the line where we want extension. Select the line and the line will be automatically extended until it meets the boundary line that we have set earlier. Number 8. To trim a line. In order to do the opposite to trim the line, we also select the boundary line across which we want the line to be trimmed. Now, key in the command TR for trim and hit spacebar. Go to the line where we want to trim and clicking on the line will have the line neatly trimmed. Number 9 is to scale an object. In order to scale an object, firstly select the object where we want to scale and then key in SC for scale and hit spacebar. Select the base point of the scaling and then key in the factor of our scale. Let's say we want this bed to be 1.5 times bigger than the original size. Simply key in 1.5 and hit spacebar. Now we want to demonstrate the relative scaling method. Again, select the bed where we want to scale it smaller now. Deselect other unnecessary or irrelevant components by holding down the Shift key. Key in SC for scale again. Select the base point again. Now, key in R for relative and hit Enter, which we now want to scale it from 1.5 to 1. Hit Enter, 1.5 to 1, hit Enter again, and the bed is now scaled relatively from 1.5 to 1. This scaling method can include any scaling numbers from 1 to 1.5, 2 to 2.5, 2.5 to 3.2. It can be any numbers relative to another. Number 10 is to rotate an object. Select the object where we want to rotate and key in RO for rotation. Hit Enter and then select the center of the rotation. We can now rotate the object to whatever orientation that we prefer. We can even lock down the orientation of the rotation to only 90 degrees by holding down the Shift key. Number 11. To align an object. We want to now align this sofa to the wall right here, which is to make this point as if to be here and this point to be here. Therefore, we select the object to align, key in AL for align, hit spacebar, and we want this point to be around here and this point to be around here. Now hit Enter, or you can continue with a third point if you want, but 2 points is enough. Hit Enter and it asks you to scale object based on alignment points. We don't want to scale the objects, we just want to align, so we put N for no and hit Enter. Now, the sofa is now being aligned to this wall. Number 12 is to move an object. Select the object to move, and then key in M for move, and enter. Now, select the base point, and then the new point relative to the base point, where we want the object to be moved to. Number 13 is to measure and align dimension like this. Firstly, key in the command GAL and hit Enter. Start with the first point and guide across until the last point where we want to measure, and then drag out to an empty space. The length of the sofa is now shown here as 2.615 meters. We now want to make this seeable. We go to the property panes after selecting it and change the height of the text to make it visible. Let's say 90 millimeters and hit Enter. We can even change the orientation of the text to suit our conditions, let's say into 90 degrees. Again, if we want to repeat previous actions, just hit spacebar and continue on to other parts. Number 14 is to match properties, whereby now we want to match this property to here. Key in the command MA for match properties and hit spacebar. And then go to the source object to select the source object where we want to transfer the property. And then go to the destination objects where we want to receive the property and select it. Continue on or carry on with the subsequent destination objects. And the properties here is now being transferred to the destination objects from the source objects. And the properties that we want to transfer from here to here can be customized by clicking on this setting button, whereby we can customize that certain properties from here is to be transferred, while certain properties such as colors, layers, line types, dimensions, size, or even text can be customized that certain properties listed here are transferred while certain other properties are not transferred. Number 15 is to mirror an object. Select the object where we want to mirror, key in the command MI for mirroring, and then construct the line of reflection. AutoCAD will ask you whether or not we want to erase the source objects, and for no, in order to keep both objects. If you notice, if you want the text here to not be mirrored together with the objects, key in the command mirror text, mirror text, and change the value from 1 to 0. Now, if you repeat the operation again, selecting the source object, mirror, line of reflection, you can see that now the text is no longer mirrored. Erase source object. If we select yes, then the source object will be deleted. Number 16 is to stretch. The stretching function allows us to stretch whatever objects that is being selected whole, while keeping the parts of the object that is not being selected or highlighted remains untouched. First, we select the entire object or the entire part which you want to stretch. It cannot be like this. It has to cover the entire parts which you want to stretch, since we are now stretching this lower part of the sofa. Select it whole, and then key in the command S for stretch. Hit enter, select the base point, and then drag it down to the point where we want the sofa to be stretched to. As you can observe here, this part of the sofa is not being highlighted just now, so it isn't be able to be stretched. The stretching can be applied to any part we want. If let's say we want to stretch this part out to make bigger rooms, select the entire thing which you want to stretch, key in S, and then select an empty point where we can now do the stretching as we like. If you selected a part of the object which you do not want to stretch, simply hold down the Shift key to deselect the related parts. Now you stretch only the selected parts. The 17th command is the leader, which is a line with an arrowhead at the tip of the line used for labeling. To begin with, key in the command LE for leader and hit spacebar. And then go to the component where we want to label, click on any points, and then go to any direction for the second or the third click, and hit escape to end the operation. Now all that we are going to do is to increase the size of the arrowhead here so that it becomes visible. Select the leader and then go to the property pane right here to increase the arrow size to, let's say, 180 millimeters so that it becomes visible. Now that the leader is formed, we are going to start labeling using the leader. Number 18 is to draw an arc. Type in the command ARC for arc and hit spacebar or enter. Go to the first point where we want to begin drawing the arc, and then guide through the second point, and lastly the third point to end the arc. Command number 19 is offset. To offset a line or an arc or circle or any shape, select the object followed by keying in the command OFF for offset. Hit enter or spacebar. Go to any point on the line, select it, and then key in the length of the offset, let's say 110, and hit spacebar or enter. Now the offset can be on either sides of the line. Click on it and the offset will be formed. Number 20 is to form a block. Firstly, select the objects which you want to combine into a block, and then hit B for block and key in spacebar. Then name the block. Hit enter or spacebar again. Now the objects have been combined into a single block. The block is especially useful when an object is being populated over our drawings, because whenever we want to change the block, changing a single one will have the entire populated objects changed or updated. To update a block, double click on the block and click OK. Do whatever modifications that is required to the block, such as deleting or scaling. And when we are done, we click Close Block Editor. Save the changes to the block name Table and Chairs. And now, our blocks have been updated automatically. To explode a block, simply select the block and key in X for explode. Hit spacebar or enter, and the block will now be separated back into its individual entities. Number 21 is the command select similar. Firstly, select one of the objects, and then key in the command select as or select similar. Now you can see that all objects that appear similar will be selected. This is not selected because it has been exploded from the block. Now we can add in to our selection or exclude from our current selection based on different properties of our selections. By clicking the filter here, we are able to add, include into our selection, or exclude from our selection based on the properties here. For example, if the color is equals to red, we want to exclude from the selection. In this way, If we have any tables that is in red, it will be deselected. 22 is the use of layers. In AutoCAD, layers are used to systematically group objects of the same kind so that we can modify the appearance of the objects on the same layer as one. For example, in a construction drawing, we can group furniture in one layer, the layout plan in another layer, and, for example, mechanical and electrical services in another layer, or in different layers. To create a new layer, simply go to the Home button, click on Home, and then Layer Properties, and then create a new layer here. Name your label. For example, I now want to create a layer called Furniture. Select the color for my layer, and then click Enter. Now that your layer is formed here named Furniture, you want to put your items or objects under that layer. To put an object under a created layer, select the object that we want to group under the layer. You can see that this object is currently under the layer named 0. You can see that from your property pane after you select particular object. This also is under the layer 0. If you happen to select an object that is in another layer, it will show here varies, meaning that you have selected objects from different layers. So I'm going to select all the furniture in the house. All the furnitures in the house is being selected, and then I go to the layer here. I'm going to change this drop down and type in furniture, F for furniture, and I'm going to click on it, and you can see that all your selected items is now under the layer furniture. So what you can do with systematically grouped layers for different services and objects, we can first, to lock an object from editing, go to the Home button, Layer Properties again, and find the layer by clicking on any point and then type in F for furniture. This is the layer that we have created just now, furniture. To lock the layer from being edited, just click on the padlock here. You can see that the layer furniture is now being locked. So the furniture now is being locked from editing, and you can't do anything, including to move, even to copy the object. You can't do anything with the lock layer until you turn the layer on by unlocking it. A second function that we can do on a layer is that we can unlock a layer for editing or having all other layers locked. Click on any layer, click Ctrl A to select all the layers, and then lock all the layers by clicking on any of the padlocks. Now you have the entire drawing locked completely and non-editable. You can't even delete objects. You can't even delete the entire drawings because it is being locked. Now you go to your desired layer, for example furniture. You unlock the particular layer, and now you can edit your entire drawing with just the layers that is being unlocked taking effect, while all other parts in the drawings, all other layers, will remain untouched or unedited. Only the particular layers can be edited. You can also freeze the entire layer by clicking the freeze button here. You freeze the layer from being shown, and whenever you want to show it again, just unfreeze and the layer is going to come out again. You can also perform functions such as changing the layer colors, so that if your components here is set under the color by layer, it will automatically change into the layer color that is being set here. Number 23 is to chamfer. In order to chamfer an object such as this one, key in the command CHAM for chamfer. Select D for distance and hit enter. Select the first point until the second point where you want to chamfer the object, and then click enter again. Now select the first line followed by the second line, and your object will be automatically chamfered by the side. The 24th command is fillet. To fillet an edge of an object, key in the command FILLET for fillet and hit enter or spacebar. Start selecting the first line and then the intersecting second line in order to form a fillet between where they meet. Click on spacebar to repeat the previous actions, and then again first and second line to complete another filleting. This fillet is formed with a radius of this circle right here. If you want a sharper fillet, you can decrease the radius of the filleting. Key in fillet and then click on this radius here, or key in R and hit enter. Now you can specify the fillet radius. The fillet radius here is 500, and you want a sharper turn, you are going to key in a smaller radius, for example 250, and hit enter. Now when you are doing your filleting, you can see that the radius of the imaginary circle here becomes smaller. Number 25 is the sketch function, which allows us to sketch with freehand. Key in the command SK for sketch and hit enter. Now hold on your left key on your mouse to start sketching. When you are done, just hit enter and the sketch will be completed. The 26th command is the command arcText, which is to form a string of text aligned with your arc. To do so, key in the command ARCT for arcText and then hit enter. Select the arc which you want your text to be aligned with, and then key in your text. Remember to also set the text height so that your text is visible, and also the offset of your text from the arc, which is the distance between your arc and the text. Hit OK, and your arc text will be formed. You can change the radius of the arc text just like you change that of an arc by just dragging this center point of your arc away from center. The 27th command, or the OOPS oops command, is going to help us restore the last deleted objects, which may be an accidental delete. Under some circumstances where we can't undo, just key in the command oops and hit enter. The last deleted object will appear again. Command number 28 is to overkill an object. The overkill function is very useful when we paste an object several times accidentally on the same spot. Select the object and key in overkill and hit OK. 10 duplicates have been detected and deleted. Now you can see there is no longer duplicates that is being stacked together. Number 29 is an array. An array is an object which is repeated over a rectangle, a circle, or a path. To start an array, draw the objects which you want to be repeated. Select the object and then key in array. Select the type of the array. Let's say we want it to be a circular type. We select polar. Select the center of your circle and your array is formed. If we select the array, we can then determine the number of repetitions of the items and the array will be formed automatically. Now let us see a rectangular array. Again, draw the items which you want to repeat, select it and key in array. Select rectangular array now. Click on this small arrowhead here and drag to increase in numbers for this direction, and then click on this arrowhead here to populate in this direction instead. The 30th command is divide. For example, if we want to divide this line into 10 segments, key in the command div for divide. Hit enter and then select the object which you want to divide. Key in the number of segments that we want the line to be divided into. For example, 10, and hit enter. 10 points will be formed, or 9 points rather, will be formed on this line in order to divide the line into 10 segments. To change the properties of these points, type in ddp and hit enter. You can change the style of the point or even the size of the point from here.